Release the Kraken!
Welcome back, fellow game designers. In our last episode, we went ahead and created our background. And in this one, we're going to go ahead and create these buttons. So let's get on with the show. And so the buttons are pretty easy. We're just going to add in a Text Mesh Pro button. So create a UI element and a Text Mesh Pro button. There's my first button. This is going to be my start button. So I'm going to do button and then underscore start. And I'll just move that up in my view here. Let's do 65. And then I'll do another button, so Control D to duplicate. And this will be my button, let's say options. I'll move that one down. And then let me do one more button. And this will be my button quit. And then I'll move that one down. And to get a nice straight view of this, I'm going to go over to my compass here, and I'll just press right in the middle, and that'll center me up. If I can straighten that out a little better. There we go. A little bit better. Now you can see how my buttons are a little bit different spaced from each other. So what I'll do is I'll take my start button. I'm at about 65 in my Y. And then my options button, I'm at about 26 in the Y. Let me go ahead and just do 25. So what's the difference, right? 65 to 25. It's about 40, right? So I know there's a distance of about 40 in between these two buttons. Okay? So I can do the same thing here. So I can take my options button and then my quit button. And all I gotta do is add 40 from my 25. In this case, I want to be, if I look at the position, this is negative 19. So I'm going to subtract 40 from 25. Well, it's going to give me a negative 15. So I'll take this, I'll do minus 15. And now they're all equally spaced, which is nice. And I can take the text on here. I'll just adjust the text, so open it up, grab the text, start, and then options, grab my text, options, quit, quit. Amazing. So I'm going to take one of my buttons here, and if I go up to my width and my height, I can see how big each button is. So I've got 160 by 30, and that's going to be a good starting point for setting up the size of my buttons in Photoshop. So I'll go into Photoshop here. I'll add a new canvas by right-clicking, and I'll go down to New Document. And I'm going to say we had 160 by 30. So what if I did that here? So 160 and then 30. And then I hit Create. So there's my button shape. And I want to do a style in here. So I'm going to zoom in. Alt and mouse wheel zooms, or you can hold Control and hit plus or minus. Let me style this. I'm going to grab a rectangle tool. I'm going to try to fill this up. I'll just drag this in here. And then there's these little dots right here. If I click and drag those, it'll square up my edges. That looks good. And I can totally snap this into position by dragging these. That's nice. But I want to make little arrows, right? So whatever style, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to turn this into a little bitty arrow. I'll go up to my pen tool. Let's grab and add anchor point. And then I will add an anchor point in the middle. To make sure it's right in the middle, I'm going to go up to View. I'm going to come down to Guides. I'll do a new guide. Let's see, I want this to be horizontal. So I want the guide to run horizontally. And I want it to be 50%. So I'm going to take this and type in 50 and then a % sign. If I hit OK, it's going to drop a horizontal guide right there in the halfway point for me. Very handy. So now I'm going to add my anchor point right there where that point is. And I'll do one here where that one is. And those should snap right in the middle, which is nice. Get my direction tool. So direct select. I'll grab that. And I'm going to move this one. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I did a 12 tap on my arrow. So I tapped 12 times to get that space. Okay. I'm going to take this point, hold shift, grab this point. So I got 2 points, and I'm going to do 12 the other way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I could spend time measuring it out, but I'll just count. It's okay. Nice. So I have what starts to be an arrow shape, but I want this to be sharp. So I'm going to go up to my pen tool, come down to my convert tool, and then I will click on this middle one. That's going to sharpen it. I'll do the same thing for this one and for that one. Okay. And then I'll do the same thing over here. And make sure I click these. So those are perfectly sharp. All right, so what color do I want it to be? Well, I want to match my style. So I have this goldish style out here. Pretty easy. I can actually steal my style. So I'm going to grab my text, I'm going to drag it up, and then hover over my other scene, and I'll drag it in, and just drop it. Now it's not going to fit, and you can totally see how the text did pop in, but it doesn't fit. There's just way too much text space up here. It's like up there somewhere. That doesn't matter. I just want the effects. So I'm going to take the effects and drag it down to my rectangle. There we go. That's kind of cool. Since I no longer need this text, I'll go ahead and just nuke it. But there is my rectangle. You can see the outline. It's pretty good, but it's being cut off just a little bit. So I'm going to expand the canvas. So I'll go image, canvas size. Let's go out just a little bit. I'll do pixels here. I'm at 160 and then 30. So let's do 40 in the height. And I'll do the same thing here. I'll do 70 in the width. All right, that's pretty good. So let's say I like this. All right, I need to have this one be the normal. So I'll say normal. And then Alt, I'll drag down to make a new copy. This one will be hovered. So whenever I hover over it, I want it to look different. So I'm going to turn off my normal. I'll open up the style of my hovered. Let's see, on this one, I'll just do a reverse. So this is what it's going to look like when I hover over it. And then when I press on it, maybe I want something else to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and drag this down. Again, Alt, drag it. And now I have a new copy. And this is going to be my pressed. And I'll open up the style for that. Now what do I want to do? Well, pretty easy. Maybe I'll make it darker. Get a gradient. I hit reverse. And then for the stroke. Maybe for the stroke, I'll take it into the dark. Like that. So when I click on it, it'll become this. So normal, hovered, and then pressed. I'll go ahead and remove the drop shadow. I don't need that. So I'll go ahead and open up each style and just remove its drop shadow. We're not going to see that in the game. All right, so now that I have all three of my styles, save out each one. So the first thing, of course, is to save the Photoshop file. So I'll hit save. This will be space invaders. This is buttons. Go ahead and save that. And then I'll save out each one. So I'll turn off hovered and I'll turn off pressed, just so that they're not being shown here. They shouldn't be, but sometimes the images stack, so I don't want to just have anything extra. File, save copy, and this is going to be a PNG, and this is going to be Space Invaders buttons underscore, and this is going to be the normal and then OK. Turn that one off, turn on my hovered, file, save copy. This one's going to be a PNG, and then it'll be button underscore hovered. And then I want to do the last one. This is my button underscore pressed. So I'll save a copy, get my PNG file, buttons underscored, and then pressed. I'll bring this into Unity. So here they are. Normal, hovered, and pressed. Drag them in. Yay. So I'll get my start button. And then I will scroll down. And we have our button style. And you can see that the current setting for the transition is whenever it interacts with the mouse. So we have a color tint. So right now it just changes a little bit whenever you hover. So if I do this and hit play, it just very gradually changes. So if I click, it changes a little bit more. Okay, that's using the color tint as its transition option. But we want to use each of our little buttons here. So I'm going to go ahead and change this from color tint. Let's go down to sprite swap. All right. And then each one of these needs to be converted to a sprite. So I'm going to grab this, this, and this. I'm holding Control as I click. I'll change the default type to Sprite 2D UI. And I will apply it. All right. Grab my start button. And then my target graphic, it's going to be the start button image, which is fine. So my first image here for the source image needs to be whatever my normal is. So my normal is going to be this one, the one that says Space Invader button normal. So I'm going to grab that for my source image. Hey, look at that. And then my highlighted is going to be my hovered. So I'll drag the hovered one into here. And then I have a pressed option. I'll drag that into here. And then there are two more options for selected. So you can select an item like by clicking on it, and that would show that it is selected. That's an option as well. And then there's a disabled. So if you have a button that you don't want the player to be able to use until something happens, like later in your inventory or whatever, you can create a disabled color as well. I'm not going to create this, but it's really going through the same process if you want to use them. Okay, and you just add them here. And now if I hit play, here's my style. And if I hover over, I get this. And if I click on it, I get that. I can do the same thing for the other ones. So I'm going to go down to this one. Again, I'll add my normal to the general source image. Change my color tint to sprite swap. My highlighted color is going to go here. And then my pressed color will go into pressed. And I'll do that for the last one as well. Change my color tint to sprite swap. So this one is highlighted. This one is pressed. And since I'm doing this out of order, my last one is going to go to my source image. And there's each one. And of course, I can change the style of the button. So if I grab these, I'm going to grab all three texts at the same time. Come down to the color option, so vertex color. I'm going to grab kind of a goldish color here, like so. And you are more than welcome to add the gradient option, because there's totally a gradient over here. If I hit that, let's say I want to do a slightly brighter on one and slightly darker on the other. You can totally do it that way, or vice versa, however you want to style this. There's also a gradient for the other direction, so I can do this. So however you want to style it, but check it out. Now I have my start menu. Now if I hit play, There it is. Hooray! That's going to do it for this video. In the next one, we're going to take a look at making the start menu actually start and swap options and quit and that sort of thing. All right, so go ahead and save your work, and I shall see you next time. Hey guys, thank you for checking out my channel. Misty and I both thank you. If you enjoyed that video you just watched, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. Or if you want to support the channel, check me out on Patreon or pick up one of my books, Life at Times Dinah Marton or The Guardian's Path of Ascension. Speaking of which, I'm converting The Guardians into a graphic novel / comic book series. Here is a sneak peek. My wonderful artist, Patrick, is doing a great job. I'm excited. I want to push this out as soon as possible. So definitely keep your ears and eyes open for that. I'll be making announcements as we get closer, and I'll post some shots of that as we go. And if you want to follow me on social media, you can check me out on Twitter. I guess now it's X. Who does that? It's BruceRF1 at Twitter, or at whatever the new thing for Twitter is. Anyway, hopefully see you there, and I'll see you guys next time.